Hey gang, Ronan here. As you can see in this game, I'm playing the Tier 6 Special Premium Aircraft Carrier Ark Royal, which is part of the Royal Navy, the British CV line. And it is, at least for me, an interesting experience.
Action stations.
I've completed pretty much everything. I think the only line that I'm still working to complete is the new-ish, I guess. British not secondary build, but the second battleship line in the British fleet.
Awaiting orders.
More like battle cruisers, which are actually really fun, and I'm going to have some videos about those coming up here in the not too distant future. But, I decided I really should spend a little bit more time with CVs and even subs, and be able to bring you some information about those. Now, one thing I can tell you about Tier 6 CVs is that it's difficult to amass a large damage total. These aircraft, by and large, don't move very quickly. See, they're a little slow to fire, which that's the case with a lot of CVs. Now, if you've never played CVs and you're not familiar, they may seem like an absolute nightmare, and in terms of spotting, they can be. And there are some CVs that can be devastatingly effective in terms of damage, but not all of them are. This one definitely isn't, at least not for me. There is a timer when you're using your weapons in a CV, and you'll see it there as I begin to make my attack approach. It was around 3 seconds, I think, for those rockets. So you have to kind of aim ahead of where you think the ship's going to be and understand that it's going to take a few seconds from the time that you click. You click once to basically to activate your weapon system and make your approach to the ship, and then you click again to actually use the weapon, and that's when the timer starts. Now there's another timer that is running that tells you how much time you have, as I try to hit the Mackinson here, in order to make your drop. Mackinson's going to slow down right there, so that's going to afford me a little bit of an opportunity. He turned in and he slowed down, and he can slow down a little bit. And Mackinson, I guess, is fairly maneuverable for a big ship, but that means he's not going to be able to get back up to speed, and I should be able to put torpedoes in his side here. So what I'm really hoping for is a flood. If he floods out, then I'm going to ping him and tell everybody, hey, he just used his damage control. And Mackinson absolutely smashes our Hawkins, and you can see I did put 3 torpedoes into the side of the Mackinson, but no flood, which that's the way it goes. But I have to say that my overall impression after playing CVs a little bit here in the last couple of weeks is that while I understood the threat that they represent in terms of spotting, they are difficult to use effectively, just like any other ship. Now, there are some that are a little bit more, I don't know what the right way to say it is. There are some that are a little bit more powerful than others, that can be downright frustrating to have to deal with. Now you can see there, just to the left center of the map of the screen, it says 3.03 seconds. Little clock. See, I just clicked. Now that activates it. Now, by the time I click, it's 3 seconds until it fires, and it's just telling me this is how long you need to plan for. And will I get another attack? Now, what am I doing flying around kind of in circles here? Well, I'm keeping everybody spotted to the best of my ability. And I think I'm going to try to get a fire started here on Mackinson. Nope, no luck there. One of the things that I have found to be helpful for the team, of course, is just keeping things spotted. And once I know where there's an enemy destroyer, especially at higher tiers, I generally try to keep it spotted until it's dead, if possible. There's another replay that I have. I guess it'll probably come out in the next couple of weeks, where there was a Yager on one flank that was just absolutely tearing my team apart, and I was able to spot it and keep it spotted, and you know it ended up putting that ship out of the game, which you know that's a big part of playing a CV, at least in my opinion. You see, I dropped a fighter there, and that was to try to bleed off some of the Baron's aircraft and dissuade him from coming back to that area immediately. But you know, we'll see. The fighters don't last as long as you think they might. You know, as you can see, it's already gone. And I've got these swordfish ready to go, the torpedoes. And Mackinson, can I catch him now? He can turn into the rocks here. No, I think that's actually what he ended up doing. But if he turns into the rocks, maybe I get another drop on him. Yeah, those torpedoes are going to miss. Let's see, he's kind of slowed down. So we've got 10,861 HP. And you can see how painfully slow these aircraft are. And I'm really hoping for a hit here. I may have launched them too close, and none of them may. Okay, so I did land 2 of them, and I picked up a flood, but unless I'm able to follow that up immediately, his DC's already fired. So, you know, we're almost 7 minutes in. I've done almost 21,000 damage, 12 rocket hits, 5 torpedo hits. It's not a lot of damage. This is pretty low tier game, and that is my experience kind of across the board with these low tier CVs. Eric Lowenhart, the German premium tier 6 CV, I think a little bit more effective. Bayern, which is the CV that's on the red team here, if used effectively, is able to do a little bit more damage. But Ark Royal, I struggle to do any real damage with it. All I'm doing here is harassing the Mackinson. Now, I like to think that I was in part responsible for his decision to vacate the area down south. Still no fire. Now, with the rockets, you kind of have to be careful where you put them. And it's hard to know what I'm talking about because what you see here as far as the reticule, it's not what I see in the game. But you want to hit soft targets. Basically, you want to hit the same areas you want to hit with HE if you were shooting from a ship, and that means kind of center mass of the ship. You need to hit the superstructure. So decent damage on both of those strikes, but no fires. And you know, it's pretty evident when you're looking at biplanes. These are not aircraft that are in special quickly.
All stations reporting the position of a
now this game is,
target.
you know, it's effectively over, but it can be a very frustrating experience playing CVs. Now I don't have a tier 10 CV. I'm really just kind of learning about them a little bit more now. I've played them. I played the old style RTS CVs, and I actually still really miss that. But having pretty much finished everything else that's available, decided, you know, I really need to do this, and I need to not only play CVs but play subs, just so that I can, again, try and provide you some insight and information into it. To me, the biggest things about CVs have been thus far being able to provide spotting for my team. Now at tier 10, I think that's probably going to change. I think that the damage potential probably increases quite a bit. But at tier 6 especially,
Enemy battleships.
it's tough to do significant damage. I mean, we're halfway through a 20-minute game, and I've got a little bit shy of 29,000 damage. It's not from a lack of trying. I mean, we've got 28 rockets on target, 6 torpedoes on target. Let's see if I can hit this cruiser.
Fighter airborne.
And I dropped the fighter just to keep him visible a little bit longer for my team. And so
Fighter destroyed.
it is important when you're playing ACV to keep things like that in mind. How can I help my team with vision? And fighters are a good way to do that. Now, in some of the games that I've played, I try to drop the fighter far enough away from the nearest red ship that its AA doesn't immediately eat the fighter, but that provides spotting for a little more time for my team. I hope that makes sense. And you can see that the red ship is bleeding HP because it's flooding. And this game is really effectively over. We've only lost 3 ships, and the red team has lost everything but the one we're looking at and their CV. And this ship is not long for the world. It's got Jaguar, Nuremberg, and Pensacola all putting guns on it, as well as me with these upcoming rocket strikes, which are pitiful in their damage potential. Now, you'll see I'm trying to navigate between these puffs of smoke, not always effectively, just to mitigate the damage that my aircraft are taking. There's a nice midships hit, 6 penetrations, but 1,200 damage on 6 pens. Again, kind of pathetic damage potential with this ship. And I don't know that I'm going to get another strike before this thing's gone. So there's no reason to keep these aircraft in the air. They're already burning. Let's just get the CV. Now you can see that I had already made the decision to move the aircraft carrier this way. And why did I do that? Well, there really weren't any more threats here. And the closer I am to the target, the shorter the time that my aircraft are in the air before they get to the enemy ship. Now, I'm going to go back here just a little bit, and you'll see that okay, so right there, you see that I went to this view. Now, if you press the M key, I mean, you probably already knew this, but if you press the M key, it brings you to this, and you can actually, this is my ship, and this is an aircraft. You can actually tell your ship where you'd like it to go, and you can see I was kind of sitting back here because prior to maybe a minute or two before it was just this ship, there were still things that could put shells on my aircraft carrier. But now I know that there's really no more threat. So I start moving forward, and you can see the beginning of my aircraft carrier there starting to move forward. So I'd already made the decision to move forward, and then Valier is sunk, and now you can see how much closer the CV is, because I know that the aircraft carrier on the other team is way down in the corner at I or J 9 or 10 probably. And so that is another thing to consider. So you want to try and help your team with vision. You want to try and pick out targets that maybe have just used their damage control. And there's nothing that says, I mean, you're going to be on teams where they don't pay any attention to it, but there's nothing that says you can't ping a ship, which you can still do even when you're with your aircraft. And then type something in the chat like he just used his DC or something like that, so that anybody who knows anything about the game knows, oh, okay, this is an opportunity for me to spam HE on that ship, get it burning, and it'll burn for a while. I've been on plenty of teams, I'm sure you have, and probably will continue to be on teams where they don't pay any attention to that at all, or they resent the fact that you dared to say anything. But if you're playing on a team that is intent on working as a team, which in this case I think I was, things like that can be really helpful. So that was that game. We'll take a quick look at the stats. It wasn't phenomenal, right? There we go. 8 torpedo hits, 4 incapacitations. I did manage to Sink the one ship, 2 floods, spotted 4 ships, put 35 rockets on target, and shot down, with my fighters, shot down 7 of the Baron's aircraft. Just quickly take a look at the rest of this here. And you can see I was not particularly effective, right? 999 base XP. The Baron is in exactly the same spot on his team. Didn't even get to the top half of the scoreboard on my team. And that's not uncommon. It is very difficult with these low tier CVs to do any real damage. At least for me, pretty much all of them that I played. This is, if I can get to the middle of the scoreboard, I feel like I did fairly well. All right, detailed report. You can see the things that I managed to do some damage to in some way. Kind of pathetic damage totals, but I still feel like I contributed in terms of spotting and in terms of XP. Well, I was running some flags and sort of some signals and stuff. So I think, or was I? Well, regardless, decent XP, but nothing to write home about. I'm going to have more different CVs and just kind of more thoughts and observations. I hope you enjoyed this. I'd love to hear any comments that you have below. If you did get something out of this and you like the content, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.